Okay, in this module we're going to be looking at chemical reactions. Specifically, we want to look at the types of reactions that are possible. There are 5 classifications of reactions, and those classifications are based on the number and type of reactants that you have. So you're going to have to review your classifications of compounds in order to help you remember your classifications of reactions. The first one starts with an organic compound and oxygen. And this is really the only reaction we have right now that has organic compounds in it. So if you see an organic compound, you want to know that it is going to be a combustion reaction. Second one, 2 elements or simple binary compounds. If we start with 2 very simple things, or within the reaction, if there are more reactants than products, then we're going to have what is called a synthesis reaction. Synthesis reactions are also sometimes called combination reactions. If you start with 1 compound, or if in the reaction there are more products than reactants, then you're going to have a decomposition reaction. If you start with 2 ionic compounds, that means that we are going to have a double displacement reaction. And if we have 1 ionic compound and an element, that is going to be a single displacement reaction. So these are the 5 categories of reactions that you are going to have to be able to put groups into, or put reactions into. So let's practice with a couple. Sometimes you'll just be given the reactants in word form. We are reacting barium chloride with ammonium hydroxide. If you get a setup like this, you want to look at the chemicals, and the first one, barium chloride, is an ionic compound. The second one, ammonium hydroxide, is also an ionic compound. And from the previous page, if we have 2 ionic compounds, that means it is a double displacement reaction. You could be given a completely balanced equation, and still you just want to look at the reactants. So the first reactant, C2H5OH, that is an organic compound, that is ethanol. And the second reactant, O2, O2 is our elemental form of oxygen. Oxygen in its elemental state always is diatomic and is O2. So if we got an organic compound and an oxygen, it's a combustion reaction. Word form again, iron is an element. If we react it with chlorine, which is another element, if we have 2 elements, that means it is a synthesis reaction. We may get trickier and give you pictures. And if you look at in terms of pictures, in this case, on the reactant side, we have 1 substance composed of a red sphere, 3 blue spheres, and a black sphere. But we start out with only 1 substance. On the product side, we have 2 substances. One is made of 1 red sphere and 1 blue sphere. The other is made of 2 blue spheres and 1 black sphere. So if we have 1 substance going to 2 substances, we have more products than reactants, so that is going to be a decomposition reaction. Reaction like this. If we look on the reactant side, we have 2 items that are identical represented by only 1 colored sphere. So those are elements. Anytime something is made up of all the same sphere, or there are 2 things that look alike, they are elements. The second compound with the 2 green spheres and the 1 grayish sphere, that is a compound. If we have an element and a compound, we typically want to think that we are going to do a single displacement reaction. Look at this one, balanced equation. N2O5, that is a binary compound, is made only of nitrogen and oxygen. H2O, another binary compound, is made only of hydrogen and oxygen. If we have 2 binary compounds going to make 1 compound, we have more reactants than products, so this means that it is again going to be a synthesis reaction. So you have a look as to what you're going to be asked to do. Given types of reactions, you're going to be asked, or given examples of reactions, you're going to be asked to tell me what type they are. This ends the module for reaction types.